I'm here with Steve from Lone Star Helicopters. He's kindly agreed to fly with me and my friends from Flying Eyes Sunglasses. We're going to do a review of the Robinson R66, but first, information explosion. I mentioned Flying Eyes. Flying Eyes makes the sunglasses that I wear all the time in the helicopter, and when I'm on the motorcycle, you can take them on and off thanks to these super 1mm thin temples. They're really easy to use and wonderful. If you follow the link in the description below, you can buy them at a discount using the Micah promo code. Let's get things moving. We'll get airborne, and then we'll talk about the interior.
Are you flying out of here?
Am I?
I'm asking.
Yes, I am.
All right. All right, lights out, gauges in green, doors latched, seatbelts on. We are clear, clear, clear.
Yep.
Be real gentle bringing it up so we don't stick a skid.
Yeah, it's a little bit slopey.
Yeah. And your helicopter.
My helicopter. What's a appropriate flight out? Does it matter?
Whatever you need, up to 100.
All right. I'm going to do one of those kind of sort of up things.
Max performance takeoff.
Because you can?
Yeah, I don't really usually have that much power to work with, so I'm going to bask in it. So we're rolling. Let's talk about the interior. One of the things, okay, I'm going to use my Enstrom as my baseline.
All right.
So the Enstrom is a three-seater on a bench. What we have here in the R66 is a lot more space. So it's pretty darn roomy up front here. And then we got the back seat there. How's the back seats, gentlemen?
Very, very comfortable.
Yeah, what's nice about the interior of the R66 is that it's an open cockpit. Like, there's no division between the rear seats and the front seats. What do you think?
I think the interior is great, yeah. You know what Robinson did from an ergonomic standpoint is they actually took Frank Robinson's Mercedes. They designed the back seats off of the Mercedes.
Okay.
And so what they did is, since it's 3 seats in the back, they took the center seat and they lifted it up slightly and scooted it forward an inch. And what that does is it gives the middle passenger a little bit more room and gets them forward so you're not shoulder to shoulder.
Yeah, yeah.
It really gives you that nice view.
Have you had, so you fly with 5 people in here sometimes?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, in terms of interior space, from a family perspective, thinking about, like, would this be a good Muzio family helicopter? It would be perfect.
It's perfect.
Like, the ability for my wife to attend to my daughter in the back there would be great. Let's talk about the T-bar Cyclic for a little bit. You've flown a bunch of helicopters, so
right.
you've flown helicopters with the traditional Cyclic, like I've got my Enstrom. How do you find the T-bar?
The T-bar flies just like traditional Cyclic. The whole reason they came out with the T-bar is back with the R22, they were always trying to go for a cost-effective design, lightweight because of the R22, but the other thing that Frank Robinson ran into is with the R22, it's such a narrow cockpit that if he would have put the traditional Cyclic in between your legs, you would have only had 4 degrees of lateral controllability each side.
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, so by putting the T-bar Cyclic, you get a full 9 degrees each side of center. It's nice when you're getting in and out of the helicopter because you're not having to crawl over a stick.
Yeah.
You just move it out of your way. If you're comfortable flying like you are right now, great. If I want to fly up here, I can fly up here. So whatever makes your hand or your arm comfortable for that, say, that long flight.
Well, how long have you flown this? Is this a good, like, long distance helicopter?
Yeah.
From an interior ergonomics perspective?
So from a comfort standpoint, absolutely. Especially when you add the air conditioning, being that we're in Texas, it's perfect. As far as endurance, you can get 3 hours on the normal tank. They do have 2 optional auxiliary tanks. If you get the large tank, you can get 5 hours out of it. If you get the smaller piggyback tank, you can get another 3.5 hours.
Yeah. The other big thing
Total.
with the R66 too, versus, like, let's say an R44, it has something that my helicopter has, which is a baggage compartment.
It does. Yeah.
Yeah. That baggage compartment is pretty voluminous too.
It's pretty big. If you're familiar with and have ever seen one on a Jet Ranger, Long Ranger, they're all the same. Yeah, they'll hold 250 pounds.
Yeah?
They're a little bit longer but narrower than this one. This one will hold 300 pounds.
I would think, though, that baggage compartment makes this a much more usable helicopter.
It really is.
I mean, on a personal level, I was able to put all my video gear back there with no problem. I mean, that would have maxed out the space in the Enstrom. So, to me, I think the interior is like a shining part of this package. It's one of the reasons why I would want this to be a Muzio family helicopter. Hey, if you want to see what I'm flying or driving between YouTube videos, follow me over on Instagram. I'm this guy. Do you have an Instagram?
I do.
You get a title too.
All right.
Go follow Steve too.
Lone Star Heli.
Style. Hey, Steve, what do you think about the style of the Robinson R66?
You know, that's personally, I like it.
Yeah?
It's a controversy out there. A lot of people think the Robinsons are ugly. I really don't. It's, you know, when you compare it to, say, an R44 versus the R66, you could definitely see the more sleek design of the R66, the window lines, things like that. I mean, it looks really good. You compare it to, say, a Jet Ranger or a 500, I mean, those are sexy aircraft.
Yeah, I was going to say, that 500 is awfully sexy.
Absolutely. But, you know, they designed this for efficiency. They designed it for ergonomics. And this thing will blow the 500 out of the water. It'll blow the Jet Ranger, the Long Ranger out of the water as far as fuel burn, endurance, comfort. I mean, so the 500, it's your sports car. If you want to go driving around and having a good time, it really is the Ferrari of aircraft.
And it looks like it.
Yeah, but if you know you're looking for your family Suburban or your pickup truck that you want to go and actually go places with, I mean, it's really hard to beat this helicopter.
Yeah, I think it's a good-looking helicopter too, and I'm all about function-leading design. Hey, have you subscribed to our channel? If you haven't, please do. At 100,000 subs, I'm going to review a windowless white van in motion. Okay, let's talk about flying the Robinson R66. One of the first things I noticed is that with my Robinson experience flying 22s and 44s, that's the two-seater and the four-seater, that's how much 2 and 4 are, that it felt immediately very familiar. One thing I'm noticing while we're flying here, though, is that it takes very little efforts to fly the thing. I'm just kind of hanging out. My right hand isn't like laboring. The hydraulic controls make everything very comfortable. I'm not making a bunch of adjustments with the pedals. It just kind of cruises.
Right.
It cruises really, really comfortably.
Right.
What about maneuverability? These are light cyclic forces. I'm going to turn a little bit to the left here. I mean, it's very light and easy to control. In your experience, where does the Robinson compare, you know, in terms of like handling? Is it agile?
All the Robinsons are very agile, very maneuverable, really powerful. I mean, one of the things that you deal with in the Jet Ranger per se, which is the popular helicopter, Long Ranger, is tail rotor effectiveness, especially when you're hot, high, heavy, things like that. You're never going to run out of tail rotor in the Robinson product, especially a 44 or 66. And yes, they're very maneuverable.
Hey, and right now you've got 4 guys filled with barbecue in the helicopter. In terms of power, no problem, right?
Right. I mean, it's a 300 horsepower engine. You're only ever using 270 of that for takeoff if you need it.
Yeah, so plenty of power to work with, very comfortable in a long-distance cruise. Any other quirks?
You know, as far as quirks, I mean, it is a 2-bladed rotor system, so it's one of those things, you know, there's controversy out there, you know, more blades are better, and, you know, okay, fine. It depends what you're talking about. Mass bumping versus ground resonance in a 3-bladed rotor system or 4-bladed rotor system. It's just about knowing the limits of your machine and what it can and can't do.
Yeah.
Helicopters handle turbulence very well, and as long as the pilot is trained up on that particular aircraft and know what they're doing, and this thing flies just like a Jet Ranger, a Huey, a Cobra from an aerodynamic standpoint. It really does. They're 2-bladed rotor systems.
Every design has its advantages and disadvantages. It's your job as the pilot to fly within those limitations.
That's right.
Oh, this is kind of fun. I see a wind turbine blade going down the freeway. Sweet. Sorry, I'm just distracted by something cool on the ground. While I'm distracted, emotion factor. Steve, you've flown enough helicopters to have some preferences. What is the emotion factor of the Robinson R66? To get you started, I'll say that I recently flew a Hughes 500, and the emotion factor for me was strong because I've got a lot of nostalgia built up into that thing, and I've lusted after it for a long time. It's sexy. TC from Magnum PI flew one.
Right.
It's got all sorts of badass stuff. What's the emotion factor here? Do you feel like a positive emotion when you fly?
Yeah, I do. You know, I started flying when I was 12 years old, and I started out on R22s. So I grew up watching them and getting to really understand and know the 22 and then the 44. So being grown up now, and a grown-up kid, if you will, and being able to still fly these and just have that history and really, I feel part of the Robinson history just because I've been part of it so long and watched it kind of grow up.
Definitely. And like as a guy who started flying Robinson R22s, this captures that, but with like a much heightened badassery. It's like the 22 I trained in, but really sweet. I think the emotion factor is strong. Remarks. We mentioned it earlier, but one of the things I love about your R66 is the air conditioning. I don't have that in my Enstrom, and having the ability to cool myself in these hot, humid Texas skies is fantastic.
Yeah, air conditioning is pretty much a must when you're in Texas, even in Florida, anywhere along the coast where you have the heat, number one, but you have the humidity factor as well. Yeah, air conditioning is definitely the way to go. It runs about $25,000 brand new from the factory.
Worth it.
Absolutely worth it. Now, you know, if you're flying up in Canada, you can lose the AC, but you can get the heated seats that they now offer on the R66. Right at our nose there, Micah, with the green roof, that's Cabela's.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah, so we've landed there before on our way to hunting trips.
Oh, that's cool.
Land in the parking lot.
So when I fly, I have an iPad and I run in ForeFlight. What do you have up there?
Yeah, right there. That's a Garmin 796.
How do you like it?
Love it. It's a great option to have there, especially right in front of you on the pilot console bar that they offer. And then, of course, down in the panel, I have a Garmin 430 WAS that the Autopilot works off of.
Let's talk about that Autopilot, because that seems really foreign to me. Yeah, Autopilot in a helicopter, how's that work?
Right. Yeah, so this is a Genesis HeliSAS. It's a 2-axis Autopilot, which just means that it controls your Cyclic both longitudinally and laterally.
Can we engage it?
Absolutely. So I'll hit the HeliSAS on, I'll hit a heading bug on, and I'll hit altitude hold. You still have to fly the pedals. Still got to keep your hand close to the collective, but you can let go.
I can let go?
And
I don't feel comfortable with this, but...
It's just going to hold your altitude and your heading right now. If I changed our navigational point, like I wanted to fly to a point in space, I'd program it in to the GPS, and I'd hit our nav instead of heading, and it'd fly us right there.
And that's one of those things right now I feel very uncomfortable because it feels unnatural. I bet I would get very used to that quickly.
Yeah. You have to be careful not to get too comfortable.
Yeah. I guess last question in the remarks section. Is there anything you want to do to this helicopter?
To this particular one right now, not really. No.
Yeah, it's pretty well set up.
Yeah.
Flame paint job?
No, this one's exactly set up perfect for what we do with it. I did pick up a brand new one last April from the factory, and it was fully loaded, and it had the full touchscreen Garmin TXI and Autopilot and everything, and that's really nice for a personal ship. But a lot for what we do with it. I mean, this thing is set up perfect. Helicopters, for the most part, it's all visual reference, and so if you can save on some weight and some space, might as well.
All right, I think we got a pretty good sense of the R66. Only thing left is Synopsis. In synopsizing the Robinson R66, I think about the fact that it is pretty darn common, but it is predictable and easy to live with. It's such an agreeable helicopter. To me, the R66 is the Labrador of helicopters. It's such a good boy.
That's a real
good job,
analogy.
R66. Good job. Hey, if you enjoyed this video, support the people who support me making these videos, like the guys in the back there from Flying Eyes. Flying Eyes sunglasses have been a great sponsor for me, and so if you need sunglasses and you want to support my channel, click the link in the description below and go buy yourself some sweet sunglasses like these. Show them how you can take the glasses off and on, man. Ta-da! Ta-da! Steve, tell everybody where you work and how they can find you.
Yeah, so I own and operate Lone Star Helicopters. You can find us at lonestarheli.com, or you can go out to our Facebook or Instagram page at Lone Star Heli.
Thank you for letting me fly the helicopter,
Absolutely.
man. And thank you guys for watching. We'll see you guys next time. Cheers.